My parents lied to me for 30 years. The day I found out my parents had lied to me for my entire life started like any other Tuesday. By midnight, I wasn't sure who I was anymore. The worst part wasn't the lie. It was the fact that everyone in my family knew except me. I'm 31 years old. I live in Ohio, work as an insurance adjuster, and until recently, I thought I had a pretty normal life. I wasn't rich. I wasn't famous. I wasn't particularly interesting, but I loved my family. Or at least, I thought I knew them. My parents had been married for 34 years. They were the kind of couple people admired. Never fought in public. Never caused drama. Every Thanksgiving looked like a Hallmark movie. My younger sister, Rachel, was married with 2 kids. I was the uncle who showed up with gifts and stayed too long. Everything felt stable, predictable, safe. Then, my mother called. Her voice sounded strange. "Can you come over tonight?" "Sure." "Is everything okay?" There was a pause. "Just come." That was all she said. The second I walked into their house, I knew something was wrong. My father was sitting at the kitchen table. My mother looked like she'd been crying. Rachel was there too. Nobody spoke. I remember forcing a laugh. "What is this? An intervention?" Nobody smiled. Then my father pushed a folder across the table. "Read it." I opened it. The first page was a DNA test. I stared at it. Then I looked again, because it made no sense. The report listed my father. Under relationship status it said, "Not biologically related." I laughed. Actually laughed. "Very funny." Nobody laughed back. My stomach dropped. "What is this?" My mother started crying. My father looked down at the table, and suddenly, I knew this wasn't a joke. Not even close. For the next hour, my entire world came apart. 31 years earlier, my mother had a brief relationship with another man. A man she never told me about. She became pregnant. Before she could tell him, he disappeared. A few months later, she met my father. When she told him the truth, he made a decision. He stayed. He raised me as his own son. He signed my birth certificate. He never treated me differently. Never once. I sat there unable to speak. My father wasn't my biological father. The man I had spent my entire life looking up to wasn't related to me at all. Then I asked the obvious question. Who is my real father? Nobody answered. The silence told me everything. They knew, and they hadn't planned on telling me. Not tonight. Not ever. That was the first betrayal, but it wasn't the last. I stood up so fast my chair almost tipped over. "You knew?" I looked at Rachel. She immediately started crying. My heart sank. "You knew too?" She couldn't even look at me. That hurt more than anything. My little sister had known for years. Everyone had, except me. I left the house without another word. My phone exploded with calls. I ignored every one for 3 days. Then something happened that made everything worse. A package arrived at my apartment. No return address, no note. Just a small envelope. Inside was a photograph, an old photograph. The picture showed my mother. She looked about 20 years old, standing next to a man I'd never seen before. Written on the back were 4 words. He never stopped looking. I read those words over and over. What did that mean? Who sent the photo? And why now? For the first time, I realized there was more to this story than my parents were telling me. Much more. The next morning, I drove back to my parents' house. This time I wasn't asking questions. I wanted answers. Real answers. My mother opened the door. The second she saw the photograph, all the color drained from her face. I knew immediately. She recognized it. "Where did you get that?" she whispered. That was the moment everything changed. Because fear wasn't the reaction of someone hiding an old mistake. It was the reaction of someone hiding a much bigger secret. And for the first time in my life, I started wondering if my biological father had actually disappeared at all. Maybe he never left. Maybe someone made sure he couldn't find me. And if that was true, then my entire life had been built on a lie.